All right, 3, 2, 1, live. All right, let's get this shared around so people can hop in. Let's copy that. Are you copied? Control copy. Let's get this over here so you guys can actually hear me. And let's, how do I do this? Okay, let's plop over here. I'm trying out this new Facebook dark mode. There was a an upload last night, and or not an upload, an update, and I'm seeing how this is trying to work. Yeah, boop. Post. Okay, that's posted there. Bum, 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 bum. Just watching Aladdin with my son. He was actually in a really good mood today. So I got some of that song stuck in my head. The Prince Ali one. So anyways, sorry guys, I'm getting ahead of myself. How are you this morning? Share. And then share to page, group, I think group. Let's try group. Share that there. Share it there, why not? And so how's everyone doing today? I guess it snowed last night. That's not cool. Where else can I share this? That'll get some people in here because I want to do a little giveaway type deal. I don't know. Oh, cool. Mozilla's not responding. Great. All right. No. Okay, I get it. Facebook isn't responding. Cool. Stuff. Ooh, I still need to bring in the chat box for today. So let's do this. Okay, that's good. Pop out chat. Oh, I actually have people in here chatting and looking. Let's pop over to that then here in just a second. There's chat properties. I wish this would just become a like an automatic thing. Like I don't know how versed you guys are with OSB and stuff. OBS, Open Broadcasting Source or whatever. Anyway, there's a lot of strange little weird steps to get rolling on something. So let's see where everyone is. Good morning, Eileen. Good morning, Laura. Yeah, she beat you. You know, you can't say come on, Eileen. Cartoon or live action? It was the cartoon one. So the entrance from him going from coming into Agrabah, the first time when he's transformed into the prince, that was the song that's stuck in my head now. Prince Ali, as you can see, bom 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 bom. My singing sucks. So as we get a few more people in here, I want to start working on a piece of leather as we chat. Oh, Prince Ali, fabulous as he. All right, yeah. Well, see, I'm horrible with my songs. I'll just start making stuff up. Anyways, as we as we get more into this, there's this little pattern here that Laura Blackwell sent me. It's actually from Diesel Punk. Not exactly sure where he's from. Either way, it's the Tiny Doctor, and this kind of goes in line with next Friday's. Oh, you were singing along. Good. This pattern kind of goes along with this Friday's and next Friday's project videos, where I make my Plague Doctor mask. So I thought I would, stitch this up for you guys, cut it out, stitch it up, and send it to somebody. Because why not? We can have fun with it, right? You are singing along. All right. And yes, I did get a good amount of sleep last night. I still went to sleep rather late, around 1-ish. But woke up around, what was it? 6:30, 6:45, something like that. Fresh as a daisy. How'd you guys sleep? Ooh, and we have 4 watchers. Look at that. Down to 3 again. Fancy, fancy, fancy. I didn't, but that's not new. Yeah, you've been having problems with that. Sorry to hear that. That's really not fun. So last night well, earlier this week or something, I got invited to this group, Abington Heights alumni, and it's really cool. I graduated from Abington Heights, and that's in the shot. Let's pop that up. There, better. That's where I graduated from it, and it's cool. Seeing everyone in there and talking with people. Not only that I know, but from years past, and there's teachers and stuff in there, so it's really cool. And I I don't know if it was a good idea or not, but I invited everyone from there. So we'll see how that goes. Kind of terrified of what might happen. Well, terrified and excited. Has Facebook been really laggy for everyone else the last couple of days? Because it's really giving me problems this morning. Don't be terrified. Why shouldn't I be? Yes, good Lord, yes. I don't know what's going on with it. It is so annoying. I just don't get it. For some reason, I am not. My stream status is poor. I don't know. Let's close some things down here. Maybe that'll help it out. All these guys are done rendering. Yes, they are. So I'm bringing back what I did last night, and this is what the screen I'm looking at right now. In DaVinci Resolve, you can kind of bulk edit things and then bulk make videos. And I shot a bunch of videos with my buddy Mike last night. No, not last night. Like 2 months ago. And I was able to get 11 videos out of about 3 hours of footage. And I had that all rendering last night. Save, why not? Close. Good. Maybe that'll help things out a wee bit. Who knows? Why, thank you. It still would be a wee bit nervous if the entire group showed up, because there's like 3.2 thousand. That's a lot of eyeballs on me all at once, live. But so there's this new miniseries that I'm doing. It's I Wish I Knew, and the idea of it is, yeah, I can do all these, you know, like Manliness Mondays and stuff, and a lot of it isn't applicable to the people who will be using or watching the information that they need to be, because the idea of the Manliness Monday is to help guys who are growing up become men, not just you know, overgrown children sitting on, you know, doing stupid stuff for the rest of their life. I don't want that. You don't want that. Nobody wants that. A lot of people don't know better. So the idea of the Manliness Monday is to help facilitate that. And this one, this little mini series, I think will be more helpful than most for that. Because I believe the younger you can start teaching somebody these skills and these ideas, the better, the more successful it'll be. So I'm aiming this at kids going from middle school into high school, from high school into college, and from high school or college into the workforce. And it's called I Wish I Knew. Basic general life advice for these guys that I really wish I knew when I was their age. And there's a lot of things like that that you don't think about, that were hard lessons. And to get a better breadth of information, I have on a guest. So I have Mike and Ryan recorded right now. I want to get 3 or 4, maybe 5 other guys. Can't until this whole Corona thing is over. But I want to get them recorded, so it's not just how I do the philosophy, where there's Mike, 7 episodes of Mike, 7 episodes of this person, 7 episodes. That gets boring. So I want to, you know, break it up, and then I'm only going to air this, you know, twice a month. But I was able to do 11 last night, which is awesome. So I think I'll schedule the first 5. I'll use today as a cooking day. Oh, good. Stream health is excellent. Beautiful. For whatever reason, this didn't post. That's okay. Let's just make a separate post there. Bloop. If I could type, this would be fantastic. At the end. Post. Oh, alright. Share today. I don't know why I didn't share earlier. Yeah, whatever. Boom, 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 boom. This is gonna be stuck in my head all day. Listen, Laura, you don't have to apologize for being at work. Like, if you're busy, you're busy. It happens. I totally understand. Um, so, what kind of coffee is everyone drinking this morning? I'm still rocking that English breakfast blend from Walmart. I forget the actual name of the brand. I should have looked it up or wrote it down and brought it in here, but I didn't. And then, of course, I had to have a small splash of Ryan's Irish Cream, because when I went to get Irish Cream, it has to be Ryan's, because you should be. They were all out of Bailey's because everyone was rushing the liquor store like a psychopath. You had Nos today. It's close. Folgers Light with Ryan's too. Well, Eileen, cheers. Slanja. And how is little Dick doing today? Is he grumpy, or is he outside playing with a pupper? Ooh, and there's 4 people reviewing now. Check that out. 4 likes. Whoop hoo. Has he at least been cooking for you? Oh, this is the perfect time now to do that game too. Um, um, it's like a bomb disposal game. Basically, you have to have a computer, and then you have to have a rule book. Rule book can be online. You're gonna have to figure out what it is, but you can't be in the same location, or you can't both see the same part of it. So you have one person reading the manual and trying to thumb through it and figure out the puzzle, while the other person has to try and describe it and then implement what you say to them. It's a really cool game, and if you guys are up for it, we might be able to have a little bit of a tele-game night. Brittany, great friend of mine, ex-girlfriend actually, her and her sister started playing Apples to Apples, or not Apples to Apples, like it's like a knockoff Cards Against Humanity, and it is such a blast because you can just play on your phone. It's so much fun because I can play that while I'm like rocking Connor to sleep. It's kind of difficult though because some of the things I just want to balk out loud at. But then if I do, I wake up kiddo and into the world. You're gonna hear that like 500 more times today because very well stuck in my head. So I made meatloaf last night and it was awesome. It was the my wife called my mother and actually got the recipe off her. It's stupid simple. It was, it was 3 pounds of beef, 2 eggs, shit ton of breadcrumbs, green pepper, onion, salt and pepper, and mix. And ketchup. So good. So tasty. So, guys, if you're in here and you're not chatting, say hello. Really want to do a virtual game night tonight. You have to stay after this. That would be good. Sounds better than honeydew melon with honey and cinnamon. Interesting. That was dinner or breakfast? That sounds very breakfasty to me. I had oatmeal this morning. Might be why I'm so peppy. No, I had like 2 scoops of oatmeal and a little bit of brown sugar. Delicious. Oh, really now, Ms. Blackwell? Have you? I'd like to try it, because why not? I like food. And it shows that I have a couple watchers in here, but only 2 people commenting. If you're watching, say hello. Join the conversation. There's no sense in being a wallflower. That was dinner last night. Breakfast was over easy eggs, potatoes, and toast. Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds real good. I need to get eggs, but I want to make eggs on toast again. Basically, it's just you toast white bread, soft boil some eggs, empty them over the toast, and that's it. Salt, pepper, boom. Let's see how many watchers we have, because once we get 1 or 2 more people in here, I'm gonna start cutting stuff out of leather. Well, how do you like the eggs? And why doesn't he get on here and comment? Tell him to put Pokemon Go down for 45 minutes an hour. Alright, well, it's 9:20. The guy said this pattern takes about a half hour. So let's get going on that. Let's move this back so there's room to operate. Rich, come on. I thought I was one of your favorite people. What's going on, buddy? Do you not like me anymore? Rich, you're hurting my feelings, buddy. Okay. So, like I said, this isn't a pattern of mine. This is Diesel Punk. It looked really cool, really fun. There's no, everything is all actual size, so there's no having to worry about things being, a weird scale or whatever. So, well, then tell him to say hello himself on here, brat. So this is all, real size, regular size. I didn't check the scale of it last night, but it shouldn't really matter all that much. Just a hair over. That's fine. That's fine. Alright, so how should we do this? get you over here out of the way. I will switch over to the ticker, which is that camera, and I guess I'll switch to that and just pop that down low so you can see my operations, and we'll go from there. And I'll try and keep the chat up so I can still respond to you guys. Let's take this down. And how's that looking? That looks good. So like I said before, this is not actually one of my own patterns. And this is just something fun that we're gonna be doing. So I'm just cutting out the basic shape right here. Get rid of that piece. Now, when you're doing something like this, you want to cut relatively close, but leave a little meat on the bone. Just so you can get the rotary punch in here. Now, my Patreons over at patreon.com actually bought me a brand new rotary punch, and it works fantastic. So if you guys are having fun, huge thank you to them. And I'm just trying to, in general, police my my cuts, my little scraps and cutoffs, because nothing gets more annoying than having a ton of little pieces of paper or little nibs of leather all over the place, especially when we're trying to work and the cut gets all wonky and stuff. Just blah. You don't have to get too crazy with what you're doing here. This piece big enough? No, that piece is definitely big enough. Alright. This is the same leather I'm making off my, I'm making most of my stuff with right now because it is free. And I love free. Let's tape the patterns down. It's a little wonky because that got stretched out around the corner, so let's do it right there. I know this is the exciting part. Tape a bunch of stuff down. Woo, party on the rock. Now, like, getting your patterns good is important. Once you have everything secured, you rough cut it out just like I did previously. Punch everything, and then do your final cuts. I have found so far that the hardest thing about leatherwork is actually knowing what you want to make in the first place. After you get that, everything's pretty easy. Those are usually the same problems I run into with all the woodworking I do and stuff too. It's not, the technical aspect of it is very rarely a limiting problem. It's the initial aspect of what do you want to do and how do you want to go about it. But once you figure that out, everything else is just kind of like procedure. I know that's not like a sexy answer to a lot of things, but it's a very basic thing to do. You know, you cut things to size. Once you have everything measured out and marked out, which isn't really all that difficult. I mean, there's a few tricks you need to know, but you know, like what side of the line you want to cut on and stuff. And once you have all that marked out and you're cognizant of that, it's all very basic stuff until you get to things like, you know, like dovetails or really close pairing and really fun joinery. There. Just bloop. Get those two pieces on here. And for woodworking, at least, the second most vexing thing, or the second most technically difficult thing, is keeping your tools sharp. It's also the most important. It can take a very basic operation and either make it a joy, an absolute joy, or it can make it hell on earth, wherein you end up getting cut. You take a finger off. And since I taped this pattern onto the face grain of the leather, the tape will remove rather easy, but you don't want to do your final cut yet. You want to keep this pattern on here until all these are punched. So you're just looking to leave a little leather around the outside of the pattern so the tape has something to stick to. if you guys want to try this at home with some scrap leather, you could probably even do it with fabric. Um, these patterns were free over on Diesel Punk. He was quite generous enough to make this into a free download. Thank you. I'm glad you find it soothing. I enjoy doing things with my hands. I find it very therapeutic. And especially during times as stressful as this, I believe that therapy and self-care are very, very important. Alright, that's all the basic cutting. Well, I guess my blade decided it needed to get changed. Which is the sharp side. But that one has the end nicked out of it, so that's probably the dull side. Let's pop you around. You know, the thing that sucks about this is, even though you're using a whole razor blade, you know, that's that long, really, the only thing that's getting dull or anything is just this little itty bitty tip. And you need to have a very sharp blade, but I mean, I'm wasting all of this on the inside here. Or at least, maybe not wasting, but it feels like a waste to me. Can't I have a sip of coffee? Okay, now I'm not sure exactly what size these holes are, but I'm going to use the smallest hole punch I have. Which again, this was bought by my patrons over on patreon.com. And let's start having some fun. Now, I didn't buy the pattern for my large size Plague Doctor mask off of this guy. I found a different one, and the main reason was the gullet, or the underbeak part. Just because it has a V cut, or not a V cut, but like an ellipse or something on the inside of the throat, and it just gives a better shape. Now, I realize that this is, you know, a tiny little itty bitty thing, so it doesn't really need that, and you're not going to put this on anything. At least I hope you wouldn't. So this just needs to be something the same general shape as a real one. Let me tell you something. Oh, this way, this way. These little guys that build up in here, the absolute bane of my existence right now. I'm sure once I get into working with leather full-time, or not really full-time, but much more than just piddling around with it, the problem will only compound. This one piece. Let me see how many people are watching right now. I need to go over to this. 4 people. Alright. You good on Facebook? I don't think so. Whatever. I have 4 people watching. That's good enough for me. Let's just continue on. So what is everyone's, what is the first thing you want to do once this whole lockdown stuff is over? I hope the last day of the lockdown will be, I don't know what day it's going to be, but I hope it'll be a Friday. So all the idiots have a nice long weekend to go out and do all the stupid stuff they want to do before I have to go back to work and join them on the road. Because people are starting to get a bit nutty, and I want them to get it out of their system first. The first day back is a Monday. Well, it'll be weird. Well, weirder than normal. Thanks, but less talking, please. Well, it's kind of a talking video, but oh, that was to a different thing. Let's see. Trying to get up my laptop up and running and signing Rich in. Haha, yes. Come visit. I hope you guys will. Go to a park. A lot of parks are temporarily closed. Yeah. That does seem to be the gist of things, unfortunately. It'd be nice, it'd be really nice if there was some way to still go to parks and stay away from people. But I understand why the parks are closed. Everything's shut down and most of the government's shut down. Well, parks are going to be shut down too. I don't like it, I don't agree with it, but I'm not part of the government, so what can I do there? I can stay inside. I can do stupid little things like this, and hopefully keep you a little bit entertained and brighten your days just a wee bit more. Well, that's one step forward. Filled with social distancing families walking way too close, way too many. Yeah, people don't understand what social distancing means still. And that's kind of indicative of how intelligent the average person is. And what a shame that is. I'm going to set these eyes to the side because I'm not sure how I'm going to do those yet. Saying we have a lake right across the street and people drive in to walk around and it gets too crowded. Yeah. Parents who refuse to wear masks but insist like, good job, no one will catch it home with you. And then, yeah, well, there's a lot I could say about stupid people and stupid parents, but wouldn't do any good. There's a Mark Twain quote that I have to habitually remind myself when I'm dealing with people who I believe are stupid. Never argue with stupid people. They will only bring you down to their level and then beat you with experience. And if that is not an apt quote, I don't know what is. Love that quote. Yeah, it's a very good quote. It's very applicable for this last couple of weeks, unfortunately. Okay, that's all the small holes, and I believe the size I'm using is 5/64 or 2 millimeters. Now, pop over to this size, which is 9/64 or 3.5 millimeters, and this is the hole for the keychain. My Choice Zone, that's a great video. Oh, cool, that one punched. Alright, these big ones. Biggest punch I have is 5 millimeters or 11/64. Not sure if that's going to be big enough. No. So what I'm going to try and do is nibble. See how poorly that'll go. I do this a lot when metalworking. I have a Whitney punch, and nibbling is just the act of, cutting a bunch of small little discs in something and getting the bulk of the material out of the way. I do believe the back of this tool cuts better just because of the angle, so let's try doing it like that. Yep. So this isn't going to be perfect, but I never claimed it would be. It's not too bad though, is it? Let's do the next one. If you guys are enjoying the leather work, you're going to like the next couple videos I'm putting out. But you should definitely go over check this Diesel Punk guy out. He is very witty, very sarcastic, very sardonic, and also rather talented. He really does know his stuff. Okay, let's get all these little nibs out of the way. Done with the hole punch. Yippee! Have to have a little bit of coffee. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Hate that I can't comment for you to see during your live stream. Why can't you, Brianna? I see that you commented in my Facebook group. Do you know why? All right, now that I have the fresh razor in here, let's start slicing things out. On small little curves like this, I don't even try and get a curved cut in here. It would just be too aggravating. Oh, there goes that. It's fine. I just try and nip down the corners as close as I can, and bing, bang, boom, you have a piece. Let's try and keep this on here as long as I can so I can actually get this as close as I can this time. There we go. Turned out a little bit better, that one did. I think his half-hour mark was more in line with having all these as punches instead of having to nibble and cut like I am. But who knows? Who cares? I'm enjoying myself. I hope you guys are too. I really should get like a trash can or something in here for all these little nibs and offcuts and other stuffs. I really enjoy starting like in the center of a curve. I always feel like I have a little bit more control over what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. A weird little hang up there. I don't know what happened. That's fine. Let's go from here. Go from here. I really enjoy seeing all these pieces just kind of come together. Got all this stuff here and blah 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 blah. Yeah, it's cool to me. It's actually very satisfying to me. I wonder if my nephew's watching this live streaming. Oops. You didn't see that? Try cutting out the eye first, because that one gave me a little bit of trouble last time. Come back with the craft knife and grab that in a minute. Anyone else on their second cup of coffee yet? I'm still milking this first one here. Not for any other reason than, well, since I have the Irish cream in there, I don't want to suck that down too fast, especially when I'm playing with razor blades. Live. Just something about that seems like a bad idea to me. I'm not sure what. Okay, why are you being difficult? Taking solace in the fact that this is going to be covered up with that. I'm not sure that's much of an improvement. It can't be much worse, I don't think. All right. Last piece to cut out, then we can start stitching. Woohoo! See, did my sister respond? Oh, thank you, Michaela. How's Connor doing? Is he still asleep? You wake up? Is he all happy schlappy? So how many of you know the actual history and reason for the Plague Doctor mask? I guess show of hand emojis in the chat. How many of you know which, why is it shaped the way it is and what was going on around then? Like, good job. Catch it and bring it home. Yeah. Yeah, these little things get a little tricky there. Oh, Rich. Hey, buddy. How are you? It has been way too long since we've hung out. It is fantastic to see you on here chatting. I also see the poison that I sent to Eileen hasn't worked yet. Snip these corners. And okay. Oh! I so apologize about that. I just kind of slapped my microphone over. Whoops. Let's use the brown thread today. That actually looks kind of handsome. I need my scissors out too. Where are my scissors? Here they are. All right. I am just making a mess of things. All right. So I sew on the gullet first, it appears. From watching this guy's video a couple times yesterday. Yeah. And then once I have the gullet sewn onto both undersides, I move on, and it kind of go, you know, you do the oculus and then you do the crest and come back down to the eye and back to the bridge of the nose, and then you do the other side. So normally you only want about 3 to 3.5 times your length. But I'm gonna go much more because this is tiny. Let's call that 1, 2, 3, and a little to grow on. Just because it's so small, I want extra space to be able to tie my knots and stuff. Boom, 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 boom. So, Rich, how are the owners of that restaurant that you work at? They seem like they were pretty decent people. I hope they're doing fine during this. Okay, so it's gonna go like that. Nope. Let's go from here to here. Now normally I take this over to my stitching pony, but this is just way too small. So I will clumsily do it here. And like I said in the title of this morning's live stream, I'm actually going to be giving this away when I'm done with it. Because why not? It took me about a half hour to do. Let's see, Rich, what'd you say? They are great. Also, my internet went down. I did say yes, it has been far too long, and I think I've been going to... This is why you need to start cooking the meals for her, Rich. But I'm glad they're doing well. They seem like really nice people, and I really enjoyed the food. At that restaurant. For those of you who don't know, he lives out in Rich and Eileen live out in the Ohio area, and there's this itty bitty restaurant which is just fantastic. And I cannot wait to go visit them again. More so I can play with their dog Bowser and eat there. And maybe I can do a in-person collaboration with Poor Richard's Designs. Or Poorest Rich Designs. Ooh, Rich. Oh, buddy. You know, I don't know why so many guys in the leather making community have such a problem with hand stitching. I find it is very therapeutic. Now, I guess when you're doing a production run or something, you want to just buzz something out, but I am not there yet. Speaking of doing productions, what would you all like to see me make? Production-wise. Poorest Rich is always up for collaboration. Sweet. Who says white people don't season their food? Oh, Jesus, Rich. Oh, boy. Alright, and I'm not going to hide the knot here. I'm just going to do a simple square knot left over right. And then right over left. A crib. Well, that video will be coming out shortly soon. Plague masks and canes, yes. Well, I can do both of those, Eileen. I'm actually in the process of trying to make, as grim as this is, and you know, that's coming from me. I'm actually in the process of designing budget coffins and caskets for people. Yeah, so there we go. Because I think after all of this is said and done, unfortunately there's going to be a lot of dead, broke people. Well, Rich, since it's going to be a Halloween prop first, can we dress you up like Dracula at your funeral? You know, we could slip in some fake eye teeth. Ah, even getting me measurements for a nice custom coffin for your husband. On a live stream that's being recorded. That doesn't sound suspicious at all. Oh, I can make that happen. we can spring load it, or we can just put a lever underneath where Eileen just stomps on it really hard. His corpse pops up. She fakes a scream. Then everyone starts screaming. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Let's even out this thread, though. I think I have way more than enough. So thank you all for joining me. This is fun. Oh, spring-loaded wrist knife. All right, that was cool. That was fun. I need to revisit that now that I can start doing that. You know, really start designing things hardcore with CAD again. Once upon a time, I actually learned how to make a real version of the Assassin's Creed dagger that opens with a ring. And your finger just twitches, blade shoots in, twitch the finger again, blade shoots back closed. It's actually a real style of knife, which is illegal to own unless it's kept as a curiosity. So take that how you will. But I'd say a realistic prop from a video game is only going to be a curiosity, because there's no way you're going to ever walk around with something like that in public. At least I hope not. Though some of you people are strange enough that makes me wonder if you would or not. But yeah, that would be a lot of fun. We actually need to finish that video, Michaela, of making that baby crib. I think it's going to be a 2 or 3 part video, unless I put everything into like 1,000 times speed and no one understands what's going on. I still need to do the intro and outro for that as well. And a doggy bed. I can definitely do a doggy bed. Interesting. Yeah. I decided the hair longer, whatever. You want to learn how to forge a knife so bad. Well, the cool thing about forging, Rich, is after you have a few basic techniques down, it's just heat metal up, smash shit with a hammer, and then profit. Alright, might be a wee bit more complex than that, but meh. Details. Did I just nip off the end of that or something? Somehow, somewhere, I skipped something. Well, here's what we'll do. This. Come through here. And we will all forget that that happened. Shall we? No, see, that looks just fine. Alright, left over right. Come on, come on, come on. Square down. And then right over left. And down. Maybe shop safety. Oh, that's a big one. biggest thing to know about the shop is everything in there can and will kill you. I used to be a member of the Armor Archive. Some of the best guys I've ever met in my life, blacksmiths. Blacksmithing group basically for armor. And one of their main rules, their main tenets was everything in the shop is really not a tool. It is a bloodthirsty monster whose sole desire is to kill you. I did skip a hole. Oh well. That'll be fine. Bloop. Almost halfway done. Look at that. I'm down to learn. But yeah, everything is a flesh-eating monster that's designed to kill you. And some things certainly are. If you look at it, I believe bandsaws were first designed for the meatpacking industry. Alright, I'm just taking a ridiculously long swath of cord here because I have no idea how much it's going to take, because once you get to here, you kind of split off. You have to do everything around, up, and back around. The same thing over here. You're going to come up, come up here, around, back, and then around. Well, Rich, if you have the time, I am always down to teach. I want you sharpening things while taking philosophy. I think that could be a very cool idea. Well, I'm not going to fill it with potpourri, but if you happen to be the one who gets it, please, by all means, fill it with potpourri, stuff the end a little bit, and post a picture to Nightsmith, the Facebook group, because I think that'd be cool. And that would be pretty authentic to stuff it with something potpourri. I believe they used rose, peppermint, spearmint, or just your general garden mints or whatever. And there was one other thing they used very often. Rosemary, maybe? I know that's like a cooking herb, but still. Okay, line up these holes. Now there's two ways I can do this stitch. And I want to do it with the X's on the outside. Because one, it's slightly easier. And two, I like how the X's turn out. So I go like this. Folk. The other way to do this would be to invert it, and you get just straight lines across the top. But for me, that's not as fun. And the funness of the stitch isn't how easy it is or how easy it comes out, but these little X's that appear right on the seam. gonna focus? No, it's not gonna focus. Because why would it? That would make things nice. That would make things easy. We can't have nice or easy here. Oops. Well, keep track of your needles. Which one's going where? So how many people do we have watching my shenanigans now? Let's snug these up. Five people watching. All right, all right, all right. This is one of my longest live streams. But I am having an absolute blast, and I want to finish this guy here and then send it out to one of you. Because I think that's fun. And I'm dreadfully sorry if you can't comment on this video, but that's the only way that I can figure out how to make this fair to the people who actually showed up for the live stream. Oh, wrong hole. So like I said, this Friday is my stitching pony video, which on bigger projects like this one's bigger brother are stupid useful, and it is the dumbest project you can do. Dumb as in it's so obscenely easy that I'm kind of upset with myself for not doing something like this before. Okay. Now, if I remember correctly, this is where things get complex. I guess that's starting to come along. It's starting to become a thing, right? Look at that. Take a little swig of coffee. Let's move on to the eyes. Actually, what I have to do is run in through this nose, I do believe. So we are going to have one crossover stitch here, but oh well. And then this guy is going to have to run into that hole. Now, since this guy over at Diesel Punk has just given this pattern away, I can't in good conscience. Ooh, that looks like a great connecting point to finish. Once I get this all done. Alright. I can't sell these. Though I would love to. I think that would just be very bad form. He's being super generous with giving a pattern away. But I would definitely encourage you to go over, check out his stuff, because if you're enjoying watching me stitch this little guy up here, you would love what this guy does, because he does some really, really cool stuff. And like I said, he's funny. He really is just straight up funny. Ooh, 6 people. We might actually have a guess by number? Probably. I see. I see there, Richard, what you're trying to do. I guess that should go like that. So. Oop, I missed a hole. Can't do that too many times or else this won't look like anything like what it's supposed to. Alright. Two. Goes into two, goes into two. So here's the strange thing that I have to now try and recreate. I need to kind of sort of make this look like a saddle stitch. Guess by number, I can do that. Aren't you two just adorable? Richie Kayla. You know, I am not going to let either of you live that down. I hope you realize this. Okay. So we got that far. And actually, it looks like if I go around the eye just one more time, it'll actually turn into its own version of a saddle stitch to begin with. So let's do that. Boom, 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 boom. This is actually pretty fun with even just with how small this is. It's a fun little project. Obviously, you don't need a whole lot of skill to do this one because, I mean, look at me. I'm the one doing it. I just know very basic stuff. Very, very basic. Alright, and last one on this side. A Babooyakasha. This one goes through 3 pieces. Look at that. This is turning out really gorgeous. Alright. This is actually turning out way better than I thought it was going to. But that is the power of having a great pattern. I don't need this one anymore. Eileen, what type of malarkey are you trying to have here? Can't have you out loud calls, but God, it's amazing watching you create something so cool. Thank you. And thank you for finding this pattern for me. I've actually been watching this guy for a few days. Now that I'm starting to get into leather work again. And actually very happy there's something I can do that's so small that I can actually start and finish it on one live stream. You know, it's just a very cool concept and cool idea for me. I'm glad you guys are finally finding this relaxing. No, I'm glad you're finding this to be relaxing for you. It's very relaxing for me as well. There's only 5 or 6 of you watching, but that is a-okay. So I'm having an absolute blast, and then I get to give something away, which I think is awesome. Okay, we have to go in through here. I have to get all 3 holes. There we go. And then just go round robin again. Nope. You go the other way. My bad. Boop. You go this way because I didn't stitch any of this up here yet. Yeah. There. All right. Look at this. It's really starting to become a thing, guys. You. This one. Now, I'm very sure there's going to be some problems with some of these things I'm doing, but I'm doing this fast and I'm doing this for fun. cool thing about these needles that I'm using is they're actually very blunt. If you can see that. Yeah, it's not going to focus. But they're very blunt needles, which is great because otherwise this nice white leather would be red by now. Ta-da! Okay, let me tie this off here. Go through here. Right. Thank you. I think it turned out passably okay. Not 100%, thrilled by it, but what has this been? 45 minutes. First time doing a project and first time doing one on live stream, so could it be better? In my opinion, oh, definitely. However, boom. It's kind of cute, actually, how this turned out. I'm pretty happy with this. And let's take these knots off. Let's clean this up just a wee bit here, because these are definitely my favorite needles, and I would be quite loath to lose them. Back in the bag. Bottle. Ooh, should I put a grommet in the top of that? I didn't think about that earlier, but I think possibly I should. A grommet on top of this guy. Where's my grommet setter? Alright guys, let's have a vote. What color grommet? We have brass or copper? Brass. One vote brass. Anybody else? No, there you are. Copper. All right, guys. So that's one brass, one copper. Rose, peppermint, spearmint, and other herbs. Going to the beak. Yes. Because they thought there was a miasma. Alright, and more votes for copper than brass. Sorry, guys. Copper wins. And I didn't know this. My wife actually elucidated it to me a couple days ago. But roses apparently have a very strong odor when they're crushed. I had no idea. Copper. 3 votes copper. Copper it is. You know, I got this at Harbor Freight. The only reason I know that is it says Pittsburgh on the side. I think that's one of their brands, Pittsburgh and Chicago. But apparently, rose has a really nice, strong smell. So one of these days, I'm gonna have to try that. But no, I'm not gonna ship this with a potpourri in it. But you could take a nice small bit of it and stuff it down the beak yourself. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Concentrate for 4 seconds, Chris, and we can get through this. I promise we can. There we go. Sometimes I distract myself in the worst of ways. So let's just fit this little grommet in here. Good, nice tight fit. And the best way is to get the anvil nice and set and flush first. That way it still looks pretty once it's crimped. Really, now this wants to be a bane. I need to crimp that a little bit more. All right, done. Let's bring this up to the face camera, bring the chat back up to something visual, and we'll round this off because, oh my good lord, it's almost 11 o'clock. Way past when I thought I'd be done with this. All right, let's do, thank you. Copy with chat. We'll do a 300 millisecond slide down. All right, guys. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. This was an absolute ton of fun. And thank you for saying how beautiful it is. I really do appreciate it. So that took me, what? About an hour and a half. So 3 times longer than a master. I will, I can live with those odds. Let's see. Anything on Facebook is going on. There are 6 concurrent viewers right now, which is sweet. I can't connect to the link. Oh, because that's my pop out. Oh, that's a. Oh, I'm an idiot. Oh well. Let's see who's in here. Okay. It's a shame. Well, I gave people in the Abingdon Heights chat the wrong link. Huh. Oops. All right, guys. Anyways, so let's round this up and get out of here. You can be on with your day. What are your video schedules during this week? This week I have the Stitching Pony on Friday. Is today Friday? What day is today? Today is Friday. It's coming out at 5:30 today, Eastern Standard Time. I'm doing these me and my wife discussed, I'm only going to be doing these live streams Monday through Saturday, but they will be at 9 o'clock every morning. And starting Monday, I am going to be having Manliness Mondays again. Listen, all these days kind of blend together at this point. That's half the reason why I'm doing this, so I have some reason to get up and keep track of things. Ooh, let me burn these down a little bit more. That was not a very good burn job there, Chris. What is wrong with you? What will I do on Sunday? Yeah, that's the day you play Pokemon Go, Rich. There we go. That's the day you play Pokemon. Or call us and complain to Michaela why I'm not on here entertaining you. Alright, so who am I going to hand this out to? This little guy right here. Interesting little finger puppet. So currently there are 5 people on here, right? 5 people. Let's see. We'll do it like this. Because this is a leather working video. Nice piece of leather here. I have a number written on here. Let's do let's do 10. All right, let's do 1 through 50. Y'all get one guess, and the one closest gets it. Favorite number is 8. Rich, Eileen, anyone? Care to venture another guess? You only get a guess once, Michaela. $36. Rich? $8. Oh, Mr. Braden. Paging Mr. Braden. Laura, care to venture a guess? We're waiting. Alright, you have until 11 o'clock. No. Yeah, why not? So, what is everyone going to be doing after this today? I want to make some bread. I have a different recipe and procedure I want to try first. I think I'm going to do a Manliness Monday on making bread. And then I'm going to make some meatballs for sausage and, for spaghetti and meatballs tonight with nice fresh loaf of bread. Nothing. You're not doing anything after this, Rich? You're not gonna play with the puppy? You're not gonna play any video games? You're not gonna cleaning the closet that I said I was gonna do yesterday. Eileen. Watching Frozen 2. Awesome choice. I can't wait to learn those songs so I can start singing them to him as well. Alright guys, well, sounds like Connor's starting to get a little upset. So we're going to flip this over now. Cookies. You want cookies? I can do cookies. 27. Rich, I do believe that means you win. So I'll pop this in a little mailer and send it out to you. All right. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you. Bleh. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And thank you for helping me make this world better, one kerf at a time. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.